It is a rare treat. It's the off season. This is the 4th&1 podcast, live from Lancaster and Lidditz, Pennsylvania. It's your boy, Fancy Trash Can, aka self-nickname, aka You Like That. Sitting next to, as always, Captain Boring himself. CFB3 is out sick. I have pretzels. We don't know what we're doing. We're upset just a little bit. Over 10,000 students have opted in. For those of you who do not remember, EA Sports is coming back out with what they're just calling college football.
Was good. That was a good cadence.
Thank you.
Not EA. So that was a really good cadence. I thought that you were doing the whole thing.
I've only heard it. I've only heard it countless times. So, EA Sports, it's in the game. They are re-releasing college football. We are all excited. We're excited for our dynasty, more content on the way that will eventually come of that. Everyone's exciting. It's just going to be Madden with the skins. A bunch of players have opted in. One of those players that did not opt in, over 10,000, which is basically all of them. They've all opted in.
There's 11,000, right?
11,000.
Except for 10,000 opted in. There's 11,000 total that could opt in.
So is more than 10,000 college football players have already opted in for EA Sports. EA Sports College Football 25, which will launch this summer, but fans will have wait at least another year for Texas quarterback Arch Manning to lead their teams on the new video game. Thank you, Mark Schleybaugh, for reporting. So he said, no, if I'm not starting, I'm not doing it? Or you think this is mom and dad being like, you don't need another thing?
Probably some of both. Probably like, why bother, going through all that stuff? He wants to focus on football on the field. That's nice and all. Only if he ever officially does kind of start and tear it up. Yeah. So I'm going to say a little bit of both. Maybe a little bit from uncles and grandpa too, saying no one's going to play with you anyway. So you might as well just wait a year and then capitalize.
I'm going to be munching on this because we're not really taking this pod seriously, even though we sure have.
What are you eating?
The best pretzel, in my opinion, available in central Pennsylvania.
Wedge?
Weege's pretzels. Weege's of Hanover. They're not Snyder. They're sourdough.
America's pretzels.
And Hanover's. Side pretzel talk here for just 2 seconds.
Okay.
For those of you who do not live in South Central PA, pretzels are a big thing. Don't know why. Probably German, but who knows? Google does. I could have just looked that up.
Are pretzels not big anywhere else?
They're not as big.
I think people know what pretzels are, though.
No. But they're like, no one's heard of Weege's outside of South Central PA.
I didn't even know that's what that was called. And I live in South Central PA.
Yeah. My guy, Frank.
Your guy.
Number 10 in the wedding.
Yeah.
Okay, so traveling musician for a while, had the opportunity to meet some people. One of those people was Taylor Swift.
Okay.
And the conversation that they had was about pretzels and what the best pretzel is, because she's from, famously from West Reading, probably one of the most famous people from Reading. Shout out Reading. And that's what their conversation was. So I just don't think we talk as much pretzels as we should.
I think we talk pretzels the right amount for what we should.
I found someone the other day who eats, the sourdough Snyder's pretzels that are like, they come in the big tub and they're like yay big.
Yeah.
They're in the standard pretzel shape. Yeah. How do you eat one of those pretzels?
The standard pretzel shape. There's only one pretzel shape. It's the pretzel shape.
Well, you could get pretzel nuggets.
What?
That's a pretzel shape. Nugget is pretzel shape.
Yeah, but it's just a smaller. It's still in the shape.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I'm wrong here. Okay.
All right.
It's not as funny for me just to be wrong, but as you drink out of your Stanley Cup, you're right.
Not the Stanley Cup.
Not the Stanley Cup. Which. So anyway, pretzels is South Central PA thing. I want to sidetrack again. So we're down now 2 rabbit holes because that's the type of day we're having. Did you see the lights went out in Wells Fargo Arena on, I think 2 days ago?
No,
3 days
I
ago?
didn't.
Yes, it was the Tampa Bay Lightning came to Philly and the lights went out and they played the entire second period and some of the first with the lights out. So it was like you remember seeing like those, if you can think about it. I know this isn't a hockey podcast, but you know those old like tapes of hockey where there's like fog on the arena?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like that because like
nice.
not all of the lights were out, but enough was so they kept playing because whoever said they kept playing. So anyway,
Sure. Yeah. Did you see Matt Rempe? He's like 6'7". He's like 20 years old. He's a rookie for the New York Rangers, and he came up and he's taken on every single tough guy in the league.
Yeah, as he should. I mean, he probably
like 2 minutes into his hockey debut, he just like drops gloves with. It might have been the Flyers. He drops gloves just 2 minutes in, and skates up to their big tough guy, and he just beats the living crap out of him. I mean, it's just his wingspan is so long, and the guys at the start of the fight are always like they're not one to engage, and then he just reaches out and grabs them and pulls them in, and he's like, "All right, we're doing this. Let's go." It's great.
I know.
I think baseball should have this. Two tough guys, and they can fight at any point. So if it's a third baseman and he's in the batter's box and he just run, he can just leave the batter's box and run at him, and they just start hauling off.
I think it should be more like, I think it should be more like hockey where. Like, you can just drop them at any time, and then only you guys get it, but your whole team gets... Like, keep the benches from clearing. Now, we all like a good bench clearing, but at this point, it's more pomp and circumstance than actual anything, right? Gone are the days of Pedro Martini throwing down an 87-year-old man onto the ground. Unfortunately and fortunately. But I think, like, home run, and you and the second baseman go at it, just immediately drop and go, and then you have to finish rounding the bases if you hit a home run, and then you both have to go sit like out. But if the bench is clear, then it negates everything.
Then so it's two designated guys, and they can go at it anytime. And then there's a penalty box that they both serve a inning penalty, right? So
Half inning or inning?
No, like a full inning, so they can't bat or play defense.
So you're down guy.
Yeah, you play with 8 guys. Yeah,
so it could be a bench player.
No, you can't substitute in. You can't substitute in, and you can't replace the pitcher. So everyone who was on the field...
Because Shohei Ohtani would own everyone. Because he's just a giant dude.
Yeah. Yeah, hey, listen, I'm fixing baseball. One rule change at a time. Rod Manfred, he is up for, he's just signed a contract extension through 2029, and then he's going to be done. And hey, I'll be the next commissioner MLB. I'm going to institute rules like this. Everyone would want to see that.
So, yes, it would be Savannah Bananas Ball. Here's my question. You saw the, have you seen the uniform thing that they've been going through?
Yeah, with Fanatics and how they're like really
I guess a
thin.
Nike brand. Yeah, they're just horrible.
It's
all
Nike
the good
and
work
MLB.
that they did all the good work that they did last year with the whole pitch clock thing, and everybody got it. But it was a whole thing. Fans liked it,
right?
But then by the second, the last 2/3 of the season, everybody was on board, including all the players. They undid with just effing up the jerseys.
With the uniforms. Yeah, Mom brought in a good point. She texted me about them. She's like, I'm kind of just like, beyond that, they're showing dong, basically, right? It's a sheer uniform. What about sliding? Like, that's going to hurt. That's going to really hurt.
Right. The thick jersey helped with sliding.
Yeah, for sure. Like, that high-quality fabric helped with sliding. So Nike and MLB designed it, but then gave it to Fanatics to manufacture.
So, yeah, that's right, because Nike threw Fanatics right under the bus.
Because Fanatics said, okay, you give us this, but then they didn't sell MLB jerseys with like the number on the front or the patch on the arm. So Fanatics is like, we'll make it realistic. You guys just design it, and they did a crap job at manufacturing it.
I feel like baseball jerseys were some of the last like actual uniforms. You know what I'm saying? Like you call them uniforms, but like they're legitimate. Like they're buttons. They're not like had the red circa 90 whatever. With like the weird sleeveless things, and like people tried stuff and it didn't work. But
why do baseball managers have to wear uniforms? In no other sport, you don't see. Or should all other sports require their coaches to wear the uniform?
I think you should have a numbered uniform. And even better, if it's in football, you should have to wear pads.
The coach should have to wear pads.
Can you imagine Joe Paterno with pads on?
Could you imagine Andy Reid with pads on?
Oh my gosh.
Jim Harbaugh standing. No, actually, I can imagine.
Jim Harbaugh would love to wear pads on the sideline.
Jim Harbaugh wants to wear pads on the sideline.
That's the issue. Yeah.
Speaking of college football, you sent
Getting us back. Wild accusation and absolute. I was really hoping Robert was going to just take my legs out from under me.
Well, Robert wasn't feeling the best, I think. You said Northwestern gonna only lose 3 games. And before I let you explain yourself, I just want to point out that on FanDuel has their win total at 5.5. So you're just gonna hammer that over.
Yes. So I'm hammering the over. So here's the big thing for me, okay? No one expected anything from Northwestern. Also, no one covered
anything.
No one covered that what was Northwestern's final schedule? I'm looking it up. 2023 Northwestern schedule. I'm absolutely botching Northwestern football. So in 2023, Northwestern won. They beat Utah at the last. Granted, that's whatever.
Yeah, they made a bowl game. They made a bowl
game. They lost to Duke. Hold on. All right, I hate Google. Do better with your results.
Here's their 2024 schedule while you try to figure that out.
Yeah, I'm trying to get there. Okay, I found it.
Miami of Ohio.
Yep.
Duke.
Yep.
At Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana. At
Mm-hmm.
Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
At Iowa. At Purdue. Ohio State. At Michigan. Illinois.
Yeah. So I'll come back to that in a second. They lost to Rutgers, Duke, Penn State, Nebraska, Iowa, and Iowa last year. They finished with 4 wins. Last 6 was 5-1. So I don't know whatever that makes them. That includes their bowl game. But that's how they ended their season. And how many losses did I say? That's 5. So they went 8-5, right? That's what I was remembering.
7-5, probably. 7-5. Sounds like.
Yeah. So they went 7-5 last year.
That's impressive, considering we both said they were going to win 1 game.
Yeah. I said they weren't going to win any games.
Yeah.
Right? Coach gets thrown out way too close to the season. They've already been down in recruiting. They already have issues.
Yeah, it wasn't like they were good beforehand. They were a one-win team the year beforehand.
Right. I have no idea what Northwestern 24/7. I have no idea what they look like. Granted, I didn't look at their recruiting. I didn't look at their transfers. I know they had one guy go out.
Their defensive coordinator was the defensive coordinator for North Dakota State. So he does know how to help build.
Defensive coordinator?
The defensive coordinator that became Northwestern's head coach last year. Amidst all this, he went from interim to the head coach.
Correct.
He was the defensive coordinator at North Dakota State. So he knows how to build a program, or has seen someone at least build a program.
So, and they brought in South Dakota State's offensive coordinator.
I believe so. Yeah.
They did. I tell you that. That's one of my
Okay.
fun facts.
All right.
Okay. So they're ranking 48th overall according to
Yeah.
24/7 for 2025
Yeah.
commits.
They're never gonna
Which, by
do
the way,
well.
that's 3 commits. They're not ranked in transfers at all. There we go. They're 130th for 2024 transfers, 97th overall, 79th composite rank. I don't know what the composite rank
Okay,
is, but
but
my
yeah,
point
go
is
ahead. Yeah, yeah. What's
they
your point?
brought in they normally your second year you get better. That's always my thought process. Okay,
Yeah.
I look at their schedule and I see they get off easy, in my opinion. I think Michigan. You say they're going to go 8-5 this upcoming year. We'll talk about that later in the season. I think you're closer to right than wrong. But you look at a good Ohio State team. We assume. Um, again, Ohio
Yeah.
State as they
Should
have
be.
they have a habit now of shooting themselves in the foot. They've developed
Yeah,
that
but
over the past
late
4
in the
years.
season, not early in the season.
So, which is when they play Northwestern. So they get Washington, which is the new big one, Michigan, Ohio State, maybe Wisconsin. I don't believe them for Wisconsin. I'm not going to lie. I don't believe in Wisconsin. I think they made a terrible mistake at quarterback. I forget who they brought in, but it was the wrong one. And I think they have a chance if they pick one of those games to upset Washington, Ohio State, Wisconsin, or Michigan. If they can get an upset in one of those games, they should win all the other ones, assuming they continue trending in the right trajectory. South Dakota State had one of the best offenses in all of college football last year. I don't know statistically what it was, but they blew out every team that they played. In 2023 from an FCS, they went 15-0. And you bring in their offensive coordinator into your ranks, things could happen. It's a wild accusation. It is totally out of the blue, but it's possible.
I don't think 9 wins is possible, but I'm definitely taking that over because Miami and Duke, Miami of Ohio and Duke, they get both those at home. Duke lost Mike Elko. Yes, Duke, I think, hired a veteran coach, whatever. Manny Diaz. Hired Manny Diaz. They'll be tough, whatever. But I think Northwestern is on the same level as Duke. So I'm just going to say they're going to go 2-0. And then at Washington and Indiana, I think they lose to Washington just because I think Jedd Fisch is underrated at this point. What he did in Arizona, his offense will fit in nicely up in Washington. I think Washington will look different, but
I think
still
they're going to be great in 2026.
But still be a 9-win team. And I agree.
Yeah.
So let's just say they split Indiana-Washington, right? So that's 3 wins. Then I'm going to say they're going to split Maryland and Wisconsin. Maryland, if Taulia's the best that Maryland could do over the last 3 years, or especially 2 years, they're out of their gourd. So that means that they don't. Josh Gaddis is also pissing me off now. So
we'll come
Maryland,
back to that.
Yeah, Maryland's just off my radar. So I'm going to say they're going to split Maryland with Wisconsin, but they have a great shot to get both. So that's 4 wins right there. Iowa and Purdue, even if I think that they get one or both of them, that's 5, possibly 6. And then they have Illinois at the end of the year. So I think that they're looking at a good 6, maybe 7 wins. They have a chance to get Michigan, that's the game before Ohio State. And they typically play whoever they're playing the week before Ohio State a little closer than they should.
So wow, that's a really bad. Can we get, all right. So they averaged 37, South Dakota State averaged 37, there we go, 37 points a game. They allowed 9.2. First of all, holy crap. Second,
what'd you just say?
South Dakota State averaged 37.3 points a game.
Yeah.
And they held their opponents to 9.25.
It's not bad. I thought that was Northwestern. I was like, whoa, Northwestern with the defense.
Yeah, no, that would be nice. I'm trying to figure out, like, I would love to figure out, like, how this compares to an FBS team. They were pass heavy 300 passes.
Who are we talking about? South Dakota
South Dakota
State?
State.
Why
I'm
are we
going
talking about South Dakota State?
because I'm trying to prove the point that they're going to be better, but I guess you don't care.
You already proved that point in your 5-minute monologue about looking up South Dakota State's schedule and their offense and whatever. Yeah, Northwestern's going to be better.
Okay. I guess we're moving on to whatever our next topic is then.
What is that?
I literally had nothing. We didn't technically wrap up the whole college football, EA Sports college football thing, but
Wait, why? Oh, what did you say? Oh, when I said Josh Gaddis is pissing me off, you said you wanted to come back to that. What? Just go to that then.
oh well, that's good. That's what we're gonna do. So, Josh Gaddis what's he complaining about now? I know. I said this.
He is basically tattling on Michigan for all of their NCAA violations that they committed. However, no one's paying attention to him. That's what I get.
Bringing up more Michigan violation allegations. He's still the co-offensive coordinator at. Can you
Maryland.
fall? Can you fall anymore? You were the whatever guy of the year, best coordinator of the year. You go, this is not my cup of tea. I'm going to go join Mario
that's not
Cristobal.
what happened. It was a money thing.
I'm not getting paid enough.
There you go.
Not my cup of tea falls under that.
Hey, I just want you to give people accurate information.
Okay. I'm not making enough. I'm going to go join Mario Cristobal down in Miami, down in South Beach, I actually don't know if they're in South Beach, but to build this Miami program back up. After 1 year, we fall flat on my face. I get fired because I'm the scapegoat, get hired by Maryland, where I underwhelmed for 2 seasons.
And meanwhile...
then get demoted to co-offensive coordinator.
Meanwhile, my replacement...
Both.
Who was my co-offensive coordinator who worked under me, became the offensive coordinator, and then the head coach of the team I was just a part of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're saying he's butthurt.
I'm saying, why do we care? I'm saying you haven't been impressed. Why are you complaining? Obviously, we don't know exactly what he's saying.
Because he's butthurt.
But why? But why? You chose this. This is your life choice. You did this yourself. You left. You could have taken a pay cut. Actually, you still would have gotten a raise because you got a raise later that year.
You still could have gotten your salary you were making. Yes, correct.
You're the one who got fired because Miami is as a program, you couldn't turn them around in a year.
And now for if you wanted to be the head coach of Michigan, you would have been taking a pay cut because when they did Josh Gaddis dirty with this salary, with his contract. I told you about that, right? His contract is
Sharon Moore or Josh Gaddis?
It's Sharon Moore. Sharon Moore's head coaching contract. It's 5 for 5, right? So it's $5 million a year every year. So it's 5 for 25, right? However, his base salary is only $500,000, and then it's incentive
it's all
the
incentive.
the rest of the way. And it's like it's $1 million to win the Big Ten championship. It's $1 million to make the college football playoff. It's like $1 million to win the national championship, or like $500,000 to beat Ohio State. $500,000, all this stuff. Where is if you go 8-4 and don't even beat Ohio State, he's making $500,000. I just think that's a. Even if he makes one of those, so say, because you can probably make the college football playoff, the expanded college football 12 or maybe even 14 now that they're talking about that. And not, if you play it right, not beat Ohio State, not win the Big Ten title, but you can still make it, right? Like if you have, so that's like $1.5 million. That's so cheap. I'm really wondering why, because he would have gotten paid more wherever else he would have gone.
Well, okay, so let's look at a couple things here. First, not much came up after. Second, I think he saw the ability to continue to grow the program, right? Because he
Okay.
does have the ability to grow the program. The question is how much. Third, going back, where is he going to go? Like, I guess Washington opened up, but was Washington really going to get, like, he's unproven. This is his first head coaching stint. This is his first real leadership stint. Yes, we saw him at Michigan. At the same time, I'm not blaming Sharon's lack of ability or experience on his reason that he has poor performance. This has Ward Manuel written all over it. This has I don't pay because I don't want to written all over it, in my opinion. So
this is kind of weird. This says that his base salary is $500,000 and a retention bonus of another $500,000 and additional compensation of $5 million. So I don't think that that's money. That like additional compensation of $5 million, that can't be cold hard cash, right? Or they would have worded it differently.
I feel like, yeah.
So it's probably what, like a house and a couple cars and that sort of stuff. It's
Or
like a
just
Steve Sarkisian.
Or just bonuses that probably are different tax. Also, bonuses can be taxed differently. So he could be getting a lot of this.
Like in non-taxable. Moore could make up to $3.5 million in incentive if Michigan were to repeat as champions.
So
among those,
he can make up to $3.5
in incentives a year. Yeah, so I guess it is $8.5. So his base salary is $500. Additional, that's the part I missed. Additional compensation is $5 million, whatever that means.
Right.
Retention bonus $500K. Now, Big Ten.
So that's
Big
$1
Ten
million
title
for
game,
sure.
Right? $1 million for sure. Big Ten title game appearance $250,000. If he wins it, it's $500K. If he first round buys included $200,000, quarters is $300,000, semi is $500,000, and this is just all appearing. National title is $750,000. National winning the national title is $1 million. A total of $3.5 million in bonuses in a year. If they were to do what they did last year in 2023.
So it's 5.5, but 5 of that is base salary, and then 500 is in additional compensation, which is different than bonuses.
It's
or
6.
Is that
it's 6
his first year?
It's $5 million worth $6 million per year. However, $1 million he gets the $500K if he comes back each year. So 500. So it's really $1 million if he comes back, and then whatever the $5 million additional compensation, which I don't think is all in cold hard cash. So the deal is actually a little better than I led people to believe, and I apologize.
I don't know what Harbaugh's was, but his was
like
an additional
7.5 or 8.
Yeah.
Right. No, his wasn't additional compensation. You are correct.
Pop up my laptop here so it gets some more air. So Brian Kelly at LSU is making 9.9. He's the 7th highest paid.
Sark's making 10 plus then $2 million. Like, what's all that additional compensation? Didn't they get him 2 cars, a membership to some club that I'm sure is only old white people allowed?
This is Steve Sarkisian, right?
Yeah,
that's what we're talking about.
Texas.
Yeah, I don't know what they restructured his deal. I don't have that off the top of my head.
I'll look it up.
But so his bonus, his base is 5.5, right? We're pretty sure that extra
his base
$5
is
million.
His base is $1 million.
His base is $1 million, but basically. So it's 6. We're pretty sure that additional compensation is not contingent on anything. Is that what we agreed upon? I don't know when we came into a contract podcast, but here we are.
Well, I don't know. Contracts are fascinating.
So I'm just looking at this. So Kyle Whittingham at Utah is 6.3. He's number 25.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm just putting this into comparison. These are last year's numbers, obviously. James Franklin, another guy in his area, is 8.5.
So it is just an unproven contract, and it's not all
I think so.
cash. Right.
I think this is, we're going to pay you because we want you here, but we're not going to pay you the most because you're not worth the most. And it's not all cash, but my guess is that $5 million is going to be taxed differently. It's also public funds, so that's also probably another reason they have to do stuff differently.
I'm trying to find Sark. So Sark signed a new contract extension that runs through 2030. It guarantees a salary of $10.3 million this year, and then it includes a $100,000 annual raise that will push Sarkisian to almost $11 million by 2030. He also gets a one-time $300,000 bonus payment and 20 hours of personal use every year on the school's private plane. I also think he gets 2 cars and a membership to like a fancy what do you call it? Country club?
Country club.
Yeah.
Or maybe a social club of some kind. Endowment. Let's look at Texas's endowment for last year. Oh, Texas endowment. University of Texas, Austin. Texas is $55 billion endowment.
That's
Texas
that was with a B. Billions and billions. Hello? Are you going to load? Is this page going to load? No. What are we doing? All right.
Because it's garbage.
Yeah, exactly. It is garbage. Athlon Sports, get a better I thought I had fiber internet.
The internet's been weird today, apparently. I think Facebook was down for a little bit. What did you think of
Instagram was down.
You watch, well, they're owned by Facebook, so there you go.
Yay.
Who do
What?
You watched the combine. There we go. Or at least you saw some
I
of the
did this
combine.
year. Correct.
Yeah. So Michigan had the most, shout out, go blue, had the most invitees.
18.
I don't know how many intended of those invitees. Yeah. So we talked a little bit about this when we talked to each other on Saturday, but I don't know. What were your general thoughts? Xavier Worthy ran a 4.21.
Yeah, fastest 40-yard dash at the combine ever. So good job, Xavier Worthy. He's a small little guy. He's my size. He's like 5'11" and 168 pounds. So it's kind of crazy that, someone my size can run that fast. So that's cool. Good for him. Someone's gonna draft him really high thinking he's all that, but he didn't pop off in college like a dominant receiver, but I mean, he can be effective with that speed. In terms of quarterbacks, so Penix and JJ McCarthy both threw, and I didn't learn anything new. Like JJ, it ripped off his hand really well, which apparently at the combine, scouts are just looking how quarterbacks, how it looks when they throw the ball, right? Like they're pretty sure that they know, they just want to see it live if they didn't see it during the course of the season. And it looked great. Michael Penix also looked great. JJ struggles with the deep ball. He doesn't put enough air under it. However, it does look like he had been working on it because he had more air under it during the deep ball drills. And Michael Penix looked just as good as JJ McCarthy, but left-handed and with the better deep ball. I don't understand all the Michael Penix hate and I think it's because
he lost.
Well, it's not just because he lost; it's his injury history too. Like he tore his 2 ACLs. He had a shoulder surgery, a hand injury. So like he was only ever healthy for like 2 full seasons. But in those 2 full seasons, he did a lot. He was awesome. Yeah. He's also 24 years old, so the development, he's already along in his development, but he can spin the ball, man. I would give him a shot late first, early second if you're a team that can early second round, and you're sitting there and you're just like the Giants, we don't got much. Let's just, early second round, let's take Michael Penix and see what happens.
Even though whatever, the white man himself.
Daniel Jones, right. But at that point, Penix is so cheap, right? Because he's a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal. It doesn't matter.
You'll waste that. Yeah, that's fair.
Right. It cancels each other out.
Did we see anything else impressive at the combine? I literally read nothing. I didn't see anything.
Big men just keep getting bigger, faster, and more athletic, both offensive and defensive linemen. And then Roman Wilson ran like 4.39, which is faster than I expected him to run. He looked really good. However, I think the number one receiver in this class might end up being, this is my hot take for the episode, Keon Coleman out of Florida State.
Okay, so he was a playmaker at Florida State this year.
He spent a season he spent 2 seasons at Michigan State, and he was part of the reason why Michigan lost to Michigan State in 2021. They could not cover him in 2021 before the wheels fell off in 2022 and 2023 for Michigan State. Listen, he ran slow, but then they did that drill where they run down the 30-yard line, so they run straight across the field the 30-yard line, and you want to basically run right on that line, and like every 5 yards a quarterback will throw you a ball and you just have to catch it. Yep. And he just looked bigger, stronger, faster than everybody else.
What is it? 216. He's 20, 6'4", 215, 216.
He's a monster. He was a monster at Florida State. He was a monster at Michigan State. He just looked bigger, stronger, faster at the combine than all the other receivers. So I'm going to say he's going to be better than Marvin Harrison.
Didn't Marvin Harrison lose Draxtoff a little bit?
No. Both him and Caleb Williams didn't do anything at the combine. Like, Caleb didn't throw, he didn't measure, he didn't jump, he didn't run, and Marvin Harrison didn't do any of that either. I don't even think Marvin Harrison's having a pro day. I think that's the move, and so people are kind of questioning that a little bit. But
well, you want to go over a CBS Sports' mock draft real quick?
Oh yeah,
since
sure.
We're here.
Yeah, why not?
Since that's probably the free one, even though no one cares probably about CBS Sports, but that was the first one that came up when I Googled it.
No one cares.
It's not behind a paywall. I keep getting these notifications from ESPN of like, oh, I would read that. And then it's behind ESPN Plus, and it's like, guys, thanks, but no thanks. Like, I don't want to pay you that much money. So Caleb Williams in this, the Bears and the Patriots trade places. So the Patriots,
Bears and Patriots, got it.
Yeah, the Patriots trade up and get Caleb Williams first overall.
Okay.
Number 2 is Drake May to Washington. I don't know why we need another white guy to play quarterback at Washington. Let's mix it up. Let's get a black guy in there. Okay.
Okay.
Last black guy that got in there did a great job. Okay?
Yeah.
RG3, just in case you didn't know who I was mentioning.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
Let's mix that up. Pick number 3, Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Bears. New York Giants draft J.J. McCarthy at 4.
I'm sorry. I got a text message. I'm selling a bike on eBay. Can you go back to 1 and 2? Because I heard Bears at 3, and now So Bears and Patriots flopped, and who did the Patriots?
Flop. Caleb Williams.
And then Drake May?
You heard me. I was wondering why you weren't... That white guy bit was pretty funny, I thought.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And then Drake May.
And then Drake May.
Instead of Jalen Daniels, RG3 joke, hilarious. Marvin Harrison, I'm caught back up. Go ahead, sorry.
Okay. J.J. McCarthy to the Giants at 4.
Whoa, top 5, wow.
Trade to Arizona. I guess they really liked him. LA Chargers, Joe Alt.
Joe Alt out of Notre Dame, a tackle for Jim Harbaugh, offensive line.
Offensive line. Malik Neighbors for Arizona. That's a trade spot they traded with the Giants at 6.
Yeah, I guess Arizona could either get Marvin at 6, depending on where or Malik Neighbors. Yeah, go ahead.
And to be fair, this was done recently. This was an hour old, 4 hours
Okay.
ago. Sorry, it's 4 hours old. J.C. Latham. I don't know if I'm pronouncing. Yeah, Tennessee at 7.
Where's he from?
Again, we talked Alabama. We talked about this on the chat with Jason Kelsey retiring. What should the Eagles do? Robert roasted you relentlessly for, I don't know, not caring as much as you should have.
I didn't understand his question because his question was so obvious. It's like you draft a player.
Or you go out and get one. It's a fair question. I just think it's very obvious.
You do both. You go out and get one, and you draft.
With an talented, offensive line studded, like so many seniors are coming out, it's cheaper to draft a guy than to pay one. And
yeah, I mean, Michigan's putting 2 guards in themselves. You can't tell me you can't go draft a serviceable guard in this
I don't mean to be rude.
NFL draft.
The guards did a great job this year for Michigan.
For a lot of teams, not just
assuming
Michigan.
you did like what you wanted to do, fudge. Don't play with knives, kids. I fidget. Jalen Daniels to Atlanta at pick number 8.
I don't think JJ goes before Jaden, but that'd be a great pick for Atlanta.
So you think he would go? Yeah, I don't. What's this hype around Drake May? I didn't think he was that good at North Carolina this year.
Again, well, it's a lot like the NFL. It all depends on where you go. May was a family history. A few years ago, when North Carolina won the national championship and beat Kansas, his brother Luke May actually hit the game-winning shot.
Okay.
So, like, all of his brothers went to North Carolina. He's big, he's tall, he can move. People are saying he's a more athletic Big Ben. That's what reminds people of. The 1 year, they probably would have been a playoff team if they could have played defense. Like, their offense was like 38 points a game, but they couldn't stop anyone. Their defense was giving up like 40 points a game.
That's what's his name, Mac
Brown.
Mac Brown's issue. He can't develop a team, fully. I blame that solely on his age. He's a great coach. Don't get me wrong. I'm not adding him on as a coach. I'm just saying, like, you probably lost a step, dude. It's okay.
I have the hot take of that Drake May and JJ McCarthy will have better careers than Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams. And Robert says, well, yeah, but it depends on where they go. And I say, no, that's the exact reason why I think they will, because they will end up going lower in the draft. First, 2 teams that are more stable than Chicago, let's just say Chicago and Washington, or Chicago and New England. Right.
I feel bad for Drake May because he's going to get thrown in there. Right. You feel bad for, you kind of feel bad for Caleb Williams if New England does have it or if Chicago has it. Right. These are teams
because New England hasn't proven that they're anything without Tom Brady.
Right. And they want to move on, and they want a star stud, and they moved on from their coach, and so on and so forth. Aluma Waya, I have no idea how to pronounce this. Fashu, he's a tackle from Penn State.
Fasciano?
Yeah. Sorry for messing up your name. I'm sorry, it sucks. Going to Chicago at the 9th pick.
Okay.
The Jets. So this is an interesting one. The Jets stop a surprising fall. They really want to go O-line to help Rodgers, but a Dunze plus Garrett Wilson would be absolutely lethal. This would be a wet dream. Whoever put this together I don't see. You have a good running back. You have one weapon that's better than Aaron Rodgers normally has. You draft an offensive line here.
So let me ask you this: let's just say I don't think people will view JJ top 5. I think JJ will go top 15.
Yeah.
If JJ's sitting there at 9 for the New York Jets, but you're playing Rodgers, JJ probably could benefit from
the same build type
from a year.
Yeah.
Behind a veteran quarterback. Why wouldn't you go draft JJ?
It's the comparables are there.
Rodgers is going to be 41. You can't be like, Rodgers is going to play for 3 more years.
Also, the darkness retreat thing really goes well with the two. His JJ McCarthy's Zen thing.
Yeah, they're both
Aaron Rodgers.
They both got
I don't
California.
know how. I listened to him last time on Rogan. It was wild. I don't know why. I don't know how he's a football player still. Like, let me put it that way. He has to not be the cool guy in the locker room, but maybe he is. I don't know. He has enough money to do whatever he wants. If that just makes sense, because those are you could build a system for Aaron Rodgers. He retires next year, and you can put in J.J. McCarthy, and you don't have to change much.
And you can pay Garrett Wilson and the corner. What's the corner's name?
Sauce Gardner.
Sauce Gardner. And you can pay Sauce Gardner because you have JJ on a rookie contract.
Right. And we know that the defense is there because it kept them in the game.
Because it's solid.
Last year.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it's an offensive line, or if JJ falls there, you take it. It just makes it's a longevity move.
Yeah.
And you hope that Aaron Rodgers healthy enough gets you to the playoffs. Because if Aaron Rodgers gets you to the playoffs as a Jets fan, the Jets owners, whoever owns them, you have your job for the next year. Because it's still solid, right?
Right.
Yeah. So if Rodgers gets you to the playoffs, awesome. He loses, he's gone. You bring in JJ. Yeah, Makai, you bring up valid points, as always. I have no idea how to pronounce this guy. He's the edge rusher from UCLA. Latu?
Sure. Yeah, I don't know how you pronounce it either. There was talk very early on in the draft process that he was going to go number 1 overall.
I don't remember. Now, granted, West Coast, so I didn't watch any UCLA.
I watched one game with him. It was UCLA and Colorado. He was in the backfield before the ball got to Shadur Sanders. Okay, Colorado's offensive line was trash.
Was
but
non-existent,
He made it look like a Pee Wee football team.
So, true athlete.
Athlete,
yeah. Minnesota taking him at pick 11. Pick 12, Brock Bowers to Denver. Now, here's a question. They just released, this is with the news, they just released Russell Wilson. Who the F? You take that huge cap hit. It's like a $15 million cap hit.
It's like $85 million, actually.
Well, 15 a year is what I was thinking.
It's over 2 years, so it's 42 and a half a year.
Oh, you take a $42 million cap hit. You don't take a one of who's left here as quarterback.
Penix.
You don't take the chance on Penix. Very
Bo Nix.
Great.
Bo Nix is in there.
Bo Nix. Both of those would fit great in Sean Payton's team.
Again, I don't think JJ is going high. So landing spots for JJ.
Okay,
Denver could be another landing spot for JJ.
We got to find a different draft.
Why? Neither
Bo Nix nor Michael Penix are in the rest of the top 20, are in the top first round. Kool-Aid McKinstry is going to Philadelphia, apparently. There's a fun fact.
People aren't viewing Bo Nix or Michael Penix as first round. That's what I was getting at with Michael Penix. Like, they're not viewing him. I'm thinking that teams are so desperate. Why wouldn't you? Bo Nix has played 5 years. He set the record for most collegiate starts. He's the most ready to basically, he understands the game. He understands what he needs to do. He comes in and he just can do what he needs to do. So does Atlanta look at Bo Nix, right? With all the weapons, you just want someone to come in and be a distributor. Is that Bo Nix? Is that Michael Like, Atlanta's a great option. Denver's a great option for the team. Seattle's going to be a great option. Philadelphia's never been one shy. Now, I think that they're happy with Jalen Hurts currently. Pittsburgh's an option. Pittsburgh's got to be picking end of the middle of the first round. Pittsburgh's going to be a great landing spot. You can't tell me that there are probably 17 teams that are in the market for a quarterback, that you can't tell me that Bo Nix and Michael Penix are still going to be there at the end or midway through round 2. I mean, they're going to be gone.
They have to be. And here's my point. These two players that you mentioned, Michael Penix, Bo Nix, have been around. These aren't 4-year people. These aren't Tom Brady, who's coming in after sitting behind Bledsoe for a year and then comes in and takes over. And those are a dime. Those are a needle in the haystack. These are guys who have been in high-pressure situations. They've shown up when they've needed to, both Penix and Nix, to put them both in the light, because they both showed up when they needed to at both games when they played each other. So you put them in the right system, you get them comfortable fast, and you have the next Drew Brees. I think I don't mean to be rude. But for how much of a cap hit you have, if you're the Denver Broncos and you do not take one of those two guys, or JJ McCarthy if he falls, I don't think he fits Sean Payton's system, but you would be insane. And this is why I like college football more, because I don't get to choose. I don't get to sit here and go, yeah, you need to take this guy or you're insane, because the guys pick the school, not the other way around.
Right. I just thought of something. Is this the most high profile QB draft class of all time? Think about this. Caleb Williams is not only really good, his stats wise, he broke records, right, in college. Yeah. Jaden Daniel was awesome, not at one, but 2 stops, including led the most high profile offense last year. Then you have JJ there.
Yeah.
JJ led, set a record in Michigan for completion percentage and has the best winning percentage of all time, minimum 25 starts.
Yeah.
Michael Penix set a gaggle of records, and so did Bo Nix. This might be the most even last year, you had CJ Stroud, Bryce Young. Okay, I'll give you those 2. Then it was Anthony Richardson and no one else. You got 5 quarterbacks that are record holders and breakers in college.
What was the year that Lamar Jackson got drafted?
Oh, you're testing my not 2017 maybe?
2017 draft. Good old Wikipedia. I believe you're right. I'm just going to confirm that here. This sounds right. Myles Garrett, Mitchell Trubisky. No, it was the year. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes. I think it was the year after this. Hold on, I'm scrolling down to the end of round 1 because it was the year after. It was 2018.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm going to get to my point.
Yep. 2018.
Wow, so Baker Mayfield, number 1. Sam Darnold, number 3. Josh Allen, number 7. Josh Rosen, number 10. And Lamar Jackson, number 32.
Yeah, so, again, this...
Yeah, because that's the only other... In recent memory.
Lamar...
In recent memory, that's
there are 2...
That's the only other...
There are always 2 that are, like, record holders, really good in college. There's a third one where it's like, Name me the last time there were 5.
That's what I'm saying. This is the closest one that I can remember of being like, you're kind of spoiled for choices.
Right.
Now, I think, they're going to... Lamar Jackson is on... I don't know how to say it. He's like on an Isaiah Thomas level route to the top. He's just special. He shouldn't be there, but yet he shows up every year and balls out, and somehow his team lets him down, or he gets injured, or whatever the case is. Like Jalen Daniels, that's what it is to me. We have these colleges that go up against a lot worse defense, and then these guys come into the NFL where the defensive coordinators actually play,
right,
and actually develop, and you have way better athletes, and then they kind of fall flat on their face. My question here to you that I'm going to pose back to you, Robert kind of posed it to you. How many of those 5 are going to succeed? Because I'd like for once for it to be more than 1. And I get that it's a game of odds, and I get that it's a game of numbers, but
yeah. I mean, just think, if all 5 of those guys succeed, that's a 1/6 of the NFL.
Yeah,
that would have found a new quarterback in that draft, because there are 30 teams. There might be 32. The point is still valid. That I just don't see how at least 3 of them aren't Pro Bowl caliber players. If you had to bet, okay, give me the ones that in 5 years from now, so it is 2024, by 2029 are Pro Bowl or fringe Pro Bowl caliber players, like aren't going anywhere in the NFL, are signing new mega extensions. Give me the names of those 5.
So I want to be biased and say J.J. McCarthy, but I don't think it.
I would
think it's
agree with you.
possible.
I'm going to be biased, and I'm going to jump on this bias train. Something about J.J. McCarthy, okay? It's not a coincidence that he arrived and the program turned right around.
It might be a Baker Mayfield level like story.
Could be.
Line.
But Baker's about to get paid.
No, that's because they don't have a better choice, but beside the point.
Hey, and that can work out in JJ's favor, right?
Yeah. So I think Bo Nix is going to show up and do something unless he crumbles. Like,
okay.
this is where it's like, it's all psychology, in my opinion. So unless he shows up and crumbles, if he shows up and does what he needs to do, I think Bo Nix is a great choice. I like him better than Michael Penix only because I think Michael Penix is going to have another injury. I feel bad for him. He's a better athlete than Bo Nix, but this also goes to show you my next point. So that's 3. And I'm going to throw a point in here. The NFL is getting more systematized and has the ability to be more systematized than the NCAA does. Now, the reason we like it more, right? Schemes come in, right? Andy Reid brings in the air raid from Mike Leach, and installs it. And then Patrick Mahomes go. And in the last 2 years, we've seen defensives systematized to shut down offenses more in the NFL. So we don't know what the next big thing to pop it off, but what people are looking for is the next Brock Purdy, really, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They want a guy who can come in and handle it. And so I'm looking for the heady quarterbacks. I think Michael Penix can do that. We saw that to the best of his ability in the national championship. If you want to see how heady Michael Penix is, watch him under pressure, watch his inability to move up the pocket. That's it. That's all he had. Michael Penix can do everything else. You can teach a dude how to move up the pocket. That's not an issue. So Michael Penix is up there. I just think he might have an injury. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's going to be healthy for the rest of his life. He gets shot up with like HGH or something, and he's great for the rest of his life. Who knows? When you have access to money and good health care, things can happen. So Michael Penix. Jalen Daniels, again, needs to go to a place where he can be an athlete. That's about it. Who do I have? Drake May? Probably not. So if I'm picking 3 of them, it's going to probably be J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, and Michael Penix. I'm going to be nice because mostly I don't want to be racist, but I'm going to put Jalen Daniels just because he can show if he's on the right team, he can ball. But we have no idea what happens when he actually plays a good secondary because the SEC secondary wasn't good this year, in my opinion. Does that answer your question?
No, it doesn't. I thought
you asked me which ones could be here in 5 years.
Yeah,
I gave you 3.
How many of them?
I gave you 3 with
an explanation
with a notable reference on number 4, possibly.
Okay, all right. A long-winded explanation that I fell asleep through. That's fine.
I try to fill in when Robert's not here.
Yeah.
And you give me this sass.
Well, you just got to clean it up a little bit. Okay, and
I don't talk. I never talk. I just produce now. I have fun doing it.
I bet you spent more time talking in this podcast than I did today. So you made
I definitely did.
100%.
But next week or 2 weeks when Robert's back, I'm just going to be like, idea, and then sit back and let you guys discuss it, and then idea, and then let you guys sit back and discuss it, and then make a comment.
Right, but
I don't read as much as you guys do about this
but
stuff.
all I'm saying is next
But
time,
I at least watched these guys play enough football to have an educated understanding of what they did.
Nothing you said was wrong. But what I was looking for was like a 2-minute Bo Nix because he's a heady guy, college starts. Michael Penix because he handles it, and all he needs to do is learn how to step up in the pocket. And then, honestly, I fell asleep after that. Who was your third guy?
J.J. McCarthy.
J.J. McCarthy. Okay, so and then it was possibly Drake May. So you have no
possibly Jalen Daniels. Wow, you really did fall asleep.
That's what I'm saying. You went on. Now I know how it feels when I talk.
Yeah.
So you don't think, that's shocking, you don't think that Drake May and Caleb Williams, who at one point were the 1-2 quarterback in this draft,
are
going to be around in 5 years.
There's always a Josh Rosen. Sorry, dude.
Yeah.
There's always a Josh Rosen. There's always a Sam Darnold.
I think that Sam Darnold was going to be good. Man, did I think he was going to be good.
Oh, he's out of the league. That sucks. So Josh Rosen's out of the league.
Yep.
Just in case you cared. Last played on the Falcons in 21. Made a team.
Sam Darnold's in San Francisco. I'll save you the search.
I was already there. But points that I forgot what I was saying. There's always a dude that gets overhyped. And I think that's Drake May. Like, no offense, dude. But you weren't in the Heisman talk. Your team didn't really do anything. You're definitely in the Mac Brown offense, which means you're a good athlete. I'll give you credit where credit's due. You're a good athlete, but like
I'm gonna say Jaden Daniels. Because a lot of his explosive plays in college were with like good passer, but it reminds me a lot of RG3, where he has to run in order to be the most effective, and that just doesn't work out in the NFL. Like Lamar's the only guy to make that work.
So here two things. One, how good are the Harbaughs at coaching? Two, Caleb Williams is too much. Three things. Sorry, Caleb Williams is too emotional. I think, which I know is funny to say, but too emotional to be not in the good way, to be an NFL caliber talent. Also, I know your defense lost you games, but how? Third and final point, because of the first point, Manuel Harbaugh is good at coaching. He has a career path because of Lamar. Lamar ran so that Jalen Daniels could sprint.
Yeah, and that's a great reference. Caleb Williams, though, he struggles playing in structure. He wants to ad-lib so much and always hit the big play that Caleb Williams isn't going to be good if he is, and we won't know until his second year. And I know and that's basically true for all quarterbacks. It's going to be really true for him because wherever he goes, Chicago or someone leapfrogs or wherever, that offensive coordinator is going to have to spend about a year blowing the whistle at practice and saying, you gotta stand in this pocket. Like Patrick Mahomes, even Andy Reid, like Patrick was running around, his first full season starting through 50 touchdown passes. It was excellent. And, made the Super Bowl, made the AFC Championship game, Super Bowl, whatever it was. Then the next year he started, first half, it was great. And then he started with the turnovers, second half, and Andy said, enough. We are sitting in the pocket. We are taking our checkdowns. And then, if needed, we will ad-lib, but we will ad-lib within the confines of the offense and the structure of the offense. And I think that's what Caleb's going to also have to go through. And that
takes a special QB coach, head coach, offensive coordinator, player relationship.
And Patrick had Alex Smith there to help him walk him along. And Chicago, or even any of the top three
Patriots.
teams, Chicago, the Commanders, the Patriots, because he's not getting past there, obviously, don't have that.
Right.
So I just think that Caleb cannot, bad, indifferent, rookie season, Caleb, it doesn't count.
If somehow, it won't happen, but if somehow the Jets draft Caleb Williams, the amount of shit that will be talked in that locker room between two very diva-ish and Aaron, yep, you're a diva. Two very diva-ish people. Rightfully so. I'm not adding you for being a diva.
The only way that happens is if Aaron...
Like he's listening to this.
Like Aaron Rodgers is listening to the 4th&1 podcast. Is if Aaron decides to retire, gets traded, or if something extremely falls apart. Like you can't bring in Caleb. JJ, sure. Michael Penix, sure. Bo Nix, sure. All quarterbacks that people can say they need to sit for a year.
Cojones.
Sure.
It's a respect thing. Like you can be mad at me all you want. Cash my check and carry my clipboard. If I'm the coach, we drafted you where we drafted you at. You'll get here when you get here. You want to demand a trade? Okay. Good luck. What are you going to do? Not show up? Great. Third stringer gets to play then. Like, if you get drafted as a backup quarterback, you have exactly this much negotiating power.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're Taylor Swift or the dude down the street. You have no negotiating power no matter how popular you are.
If you're a backup quarterback, sure.
If you're a backup, if you get
sure,
drafted
but
as the backup.
but it would okay. So say the Jets, right?
Somehow
6-4, right? This happens.
Yeah.
6-4. Rodgers hasn't looked like himself. The offense is okay, but not great. Or they're 600. They're 6-6. They're going into a bye. Things, you can't tell me that Jet fan base isn't going to be like, let's see what the kids got.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Like, you're not going to subject Aaron Rodgers to that. That's not why you brought him.
Because he's gone after this year.
Is he, though? Or is he going to do his darkness retreat and then be like,
doesn't he only have a 2-year deal?
Ever. It's basically a 2-year deal, yeah.
Yeah. So they don't have to renew him.
They don't, but also...
You would be dumb to renew Aaron Rodgers after this year.
But then also,
Brett Favre was never the same after 40.
Let me give you a scenario. Duke, that's a TV. It's not a mirror. You cannot see yourself in it. He's pouting because I won't give him dinner. So we'll wrap up shortly.
We'll wrap this up.
I can give dinner. Scenario, worst case scenario, you somehow get Caleb Williams, Aaron Rodgers, right? Aaron wins a Super Bowl and says, I'm coming back. On the podium says, I'm coming back, everybody. Now, I like I said, like you said, no negotiating power. But now you have Caleb Williams sitting there being like, I'm wasting my NFL career sitting behind Aaron Rodgers.
Should have made more money and played NCAA football for another year.
What? But then do quarterbacks start doing that? Because remember that rumor. Remember that rumor where Caleb's like, I could come back because I could make more money in college, which is untrue as the first overall pick.
So what? What happens? If they do that, what happens? We'll discuss that next time. I think this is the right music. It's not.
It's not, but it works.
I like
the 10-minute sports report music.
Yeah, well, we'll discuss what will happen next time. Hopefully Robert will listen to all of this. It's been the 4th and 1 podcast. We'll see you again when we see you again.
Wash those hands, you filthy animals. Bye.